With Miranda Kahn, J.D. Hayworth back with you on America's Forum. We could put this next story under a file labeled bordering on insanity. Because there's the situation on the border. Illegals.
Leave it to you and our producer to coin these phrases.
Well, to be fair, I think my old buddy Tom Tancredo in the Congress may have had a book by the same title. My book's another story.
At least you gave credit.
Well, we can fill in the story for you here now, as illegals are streaming across our southern border in numbers we have not seen since last summer's peak.
Yeah, officials warn about the uptick as more than 3,000 have crossed the Mexican border into the U.S. last month.
Joining us now to talk about it, Jessica Vaughan, who is the Director of Policy Studies for the Center for Immigration Studies. She Skypes in with us. It's very good to have you back with us, Jessica, but this is a very disturbing story. This is the next surge. Give us the numbers.
Well, as you mentioned, just last month, the Border Patrol apprehended 3,000 minors. Since October 1st, they've apprehended almost 16,000 minors, an almost equal number of people coming as part of a family. So what this shows us is the surge was never really over, despite what the Obama administration said. The policies haven't changed, the incentives haven't changed, so they continue to come, and American communities need to brace themselves to absorb, tens of thousands of more who are going to come in the near future. It's really time for Congress to take action. They have a bill that they've been moving through the House of Representatives that would change the way these illegal aliens are treated. And that's the only thing that's going to make a difference here, is because they know the Obama administration policy has been, welcome. You'll be able to stay. You'll be able to sponsor your family members. Somebody else has to take control of immigration policy, and that has to be Congress, because the Constitution gives Congress the authority to run our immigration system. So they need to do it.
Jessica, I'm listening to you speak, and I think the key word there was apprehended. That means that there were several others that probably weren't. What are the estimates saying?
Well, it's generally believed that the number apprehended is probably only about half of the number of people who actually tried to get across, which means there's probably an equal number of people who got through that we don't know about. But apprehensions shouldn't be considered a form of enforcement, because after the Border Patrol apprehends these cases, it turns them over to ICE and to the Office of Refugee Resettlement, and then they are simply allowed to join their family members who are already here illegally and living in American communities. So it's a giant catch and release program.
Yeah, you got catch and release, which should be saved for the fish, not for human beings. We need to enforce our borders. As disturbing as this is, Jessica, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about what else is happening on the legal front, and that, of course, is the federal judge in Brownsville, Texas, has denied a request to put his ruling against Mr. Obama's executive amnesty on hold. He is slamming the Department of Justice for their handling of the case. Is this judge basically the only federal official who's proving effective in standing up against Mr. Obama's amnesty?
Well, it certainly seems that way right now, because he's been the only one who's been able to block the president's unconstitutional amnesty plan. Congress had a chance to do it and chose not to. But fortunately, there is somebody still left in the federal government who understands what the law says and what a problem this amnesty of millions of people would be for American communities. And so he has said that indeed these states would be harmed if he were to allow this amnesty to go forward, and that, as he put it, the toothpaste could never be put back into the tube once they get work permits. He's right. And he has turned down this request. A lot of people think that even the appeal that the Obama administration has already filed is not going to be persuasive in this particular circuit. So, fortunately for now, the program has been stopped. But of course, what this judge cannot do is force the Obama administration to enforce immigration laws. They've already said that they're not going to do that until.
And Jessica, that is a huge problem. I'm going to be talking about it more later this hour, as we're actually flying illegals in on the taxpayers' dime now, despite the judge's efforts to stop this amnesty. More ahead on America's Forum.